Good afternoon, Boomi fans, and welcome back to Dallas, Texas. We're here coming to the end of our 2 days of power-packed coverage on theCUBE. My name's Savannah Peterson. Very excited for this next panel with AK, Dinesh, and Ann, and so nice to have you back. This is twice in one day for us. I'm loving this. So, you brought some new friends on the show this time. Tell me a little bit about the partnership.
Well, let me have you guys talk about the partnership. This is the most important thing.
A very good evening to all of you. First of all, I wanted to thank Boomi for inviting us into this show. We are both from Tech Mahindra, and we are a global SI, and we are a global partner for Boomi, right? We've been working with Boomi for the last, I would say, a decade. And the partnership has been elevating from the time we have started it. We hope this next year we'll be a platinum sponsor, or a platinum partnership, basically.
Yeah. Love that.
We wouldn't mind a platinum sponsorship.
All good, all good.
My target for next year is how do I make sure that I remain on the stage and not get off it when there's an award ceremony going on.
Yes.
Right? I just want to stay there. Wind all of them up.
I love that. Well, I mean, y'all have obviously been working together for a long time to deploy solutions around the globe for all of your customers. We were talking before we went live here, not talking about iPaaS in the same way anymore, even though we're with the iPaaS OGs. There's an evolution that's happened here and a maturation of the platform. It's all agentic. AK, talk to me a little bit about what y'all are doing with agents.
Sure. So I think one of the important things that you just brought up also in the last 2 to 3 days that we've all been here, I think we've never heard the fundamental rudimentary integration topics being spoken about. We're all talking about AI, we're talking about how do we go agentic. And I'm all excited primarily because we, along with Boomi, are working to get as many agents out as possible by the time you're live with agents for the customers, right? We already have 30 in the pipeline, going one after the other. And in fact, we have been waiting. We told some of our customers already that next week, they will see a barrage of agents being considered for their ecosystem and how we bring in value for them. One thing that stood out in particular, and I'm sure our friends from Boomi will be already aware of it, is the agent that discovers the usage of the platform for our customers. We've given some previews to our customers. They're excited because everybody wants to know if they're using what they paid for.
Right. Well, and a lot of people aren't in a lot of circumstances.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's a thing.
Exactly. And then we dovetail that conversation with how else can we maximize the utilization, right? Win-win for all of us.
It's a win-win for TechM, it's a win-win for Boomi, and it's a win-win for the customer, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And that visibility is really important. I mean, you don't know what you don't know, and a lot of people don't know how anyone's using the tool. Have you uncovered anything interesting as you've been experimenting with that?
Well, yes, but probably for a later discussion, I would say.
Come on, tell me all your secrets right now, AK.
I'll spill one. I'll spill one.
Yes.
I'm for sure assured that most of the owners of Boomi are not 100% utilizing the platform.
Yes.
And we want to make sure they get the best value for their investment and also see how Boomi plays an important role and a major role in their ecosystem. So that's our intent there.
Yeah, this agent will also enable Boomi to make sure that how they can upsell it, right? Because if you look at Boomi as a platform, it has got many components, right? We have a iPaaS, we have the mastery, we have the other stuff, right? So this will help Boomi also to understand how their customers are leveraging it, how they are consuming it, and this can enable them from a cross-sell or upsell perspective, basically.
Yeah, and I think, sorry to interrupt, but Mastery is part of the cloud API management suite, and I think that you make some really good points there. What we're talking about now, and the reason why Boomi is embracing agentic AI so much is because we have allowed customers to create that trusted data foundation, and what you're talking about there is API management, which is the next layer up, and extending that trust out to other customers and maintaining that governance across the API world, which is so important from a security perspective. The next step then is agents, right? So you have access to good contextual data to ground your large language model. You have access to the tools that you need to build your agents. It's the next level up. So if you're not taking advantage of the whole platform and you have access to it, you're really missing a trick there. And I think this is what you guys are helping us uncover.
That. Yep.
I think that'll be fun for you to use internally even too. This is a drink your own champagne moment a little bit as well. It'll be kind of fun.
This, yeah.
That's super cool. So what Dinesh, I know you talk to a lot of customers.
Yes.
Talk to me about those conversations. Data integration at the enterprise level right now is such a critical conversation, especially as everyone's evolving. What are you hearing? What are some of the common trends?
Yeah, that's a very good question. See, as a business unit head, when I go and meet the customers, right? Obviously, there are a lot of pitfalls that a customer goes through when they are trying to implement an integration or a transformational project, right? The typical pitfalls could be that there's a data silo. The data which is appearing in an ERP system and the data which is appearing in a CRM system are completely different because they are maintaining the data in a silo manner, right? That's a major pitfall. The other thing could be inconsistent data, right? What appears on a data on a HR system or what appears on an ERP system or some other system would be completely different. And that inconsistency can lead to a lot of customer dissatisfaction to the end customer, right? The third is when customers are trying to do the project and there's a downtime, right? And that can, again, create some challenges because the customer wouldn't have thought through what are some of the challenges that they may go through when they are implementing a particular project. So let's say if somebody is implementing an ERP system and then there's a downtime which can affect a CRM or some other system where the customers are completely out. I recently was talking to one of a banking customer. Because they were implementing the projects in a little bit of a silo manner, when they went ahead with a particular project, the entire system was down because they were trying to implement a project on an ERP which brought their online system and some other stuff. The reason is they didn't think through these pitfalls and what should have been the right governing strategy. That's what happens. This is exactly why I feel that one is that they need to have a right partner who can engage with them to ensure that what are the governance that should be taken care of, what are the right partners, what are the right product. Because sometimes when you are implementing these pitfalls, right, or trying to address these pitfalls, you need to have a right OEM product, let's say like a Boomi, who can address this, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how I would put it.
Yeah, so the value of the right partners and trust in those partners right now has probably never been more critical than it is. How do you evaluate who's a good partner? AK, I'll go to you on this one.
Okay, see, I think that's a very tricky question, to be honest.
Right.
Because when it comes to evaluating your partner, it is about what value they bring, not just as a platform or an OEM, but to the customer specificity, right? And what problem are you able to solve? And this is where, OEMs or products are making sure that they address the entire gamut. It's not just one piece that I want to solve. It's not just an integration platform, for example, that I want to take care of. I want to be sure I know that there is a problem of a golden record. How do I take care of that? So MDM is already baked into it. So these kind of decisions at a product level really help us make sure that we are getting the right set of tools to deliver to our customers, who in turn can deliver value to their customers, right? If you look at it, what are we? We are in the business of making sure our customers are successful for their customers, right? So that's the chain that we have to drive.
It's like understanding the whole problem, right?
Exactly.
And understanding that when you think about digital technological problems, they're holistic, right? They don't just impact one part of the business. So when you mention an ERP going down or CRM going down, a CRM going down in a retail organization could be critical, right?
Yes.
I think we saw recently, I live in the UK, so in London, Marks and Spencer's is a very popular retail brand. They had a cyber attack recently. For every week they're down, it cost them 43 million.
Yes.
So think about that, and think about a bank. If you can't access your banking resources, that's a problem. So the real problem for customers is inconvenience or lack of trust, and trust can be brand damaging. So for organizations, they need to engage with partners and tool vendors that they can trust and that have a record of trust. And this is why we take security so seriously at Boomi, and our partners, obviously,
I think
ability
to a large extent AK addressed it, but what is very important is to understand the ecosystem, understand which product fits into this ecosystem. That would be very critical, because many times I have seen the customer end up choosing a product which may not be fit because they have not understood the problem statement, and that's when things go wrong, basically.
Yeah, I think I'm really glad you brought that up, Anne. It's understanding every part of the problem and the puzzle, not just this one immediate pain point,
that's where the problem
not just the headache I have today, but the chronic issues that are much more systemic. And I think, especially moving at this velocity, that can be even more challenging than it normally is. Wow, okay, so y'all are coming to us from Bangalore.
Yes.
And I'm curious, because we haven't had anyone from Bangalore on the show this week, what's the culture and conversation like at the bar in Bangalore or out and about? What's the conversation?
I live here, so probably I'll leave it to, I'll leave it to him to
AK is
answer.
in Dallas, but he would have a fair idea. But I think if you have not been to Bangalore, Bangalore is as much as a metropolitan, cosmopolitan city, right? The conversation would not be very different from what you get in a Dallas bar. Maybe I would say the IT crowd in a bar would be much higher in Bangalore than in Dallas, is how I would put it. So the conversation could be about sports, as it used to be, or it could be about the typical IT system that we typically do, right? So it could be about what is happening in the IT industry, how is the customers moving, what's happening in the AI industry. Okay, that's another conversation that can lead to, because I think Bangalore is also called as the Silicon Valley of India, right? And I think to a large extent you would see a lot of IT crowd, if I want to call it as. So certainly there is some conversation which can lead to either a customer problem statement or it can lead to what is happening in the technology space. Okay.
To a large extent, there are quite some bars, designated bars and pubs, for example, in Bangalore, where the conversations would be similar to what we have back here in Starbucks.
Starbucks, okay.
Ah, yeah.
You discuss, you ideate. There are people, youngsters who are just building stuff sitting there and launching their startups, right from the pubs.
In fact,
it wouldn't really.
I did not know this conversation was going this direction, and I am thrilled. I am actually.
I'm not going to lie. Like, we are not having these conversations in my crowd. I'm mixing with the wrong crowd.
I'm launching my next company from a bar. Actually. I should do some cool project and then launch it from a bar. I feel like this is totally in our.
It needs to happen.
All I mean to say was, don't be surprised if you hear someone say that. So
there are a lot of startups which are coming up in Bangalore because there's a lot of young crowd.
Yes.
And these ideas are brainstormed in such bars, basically.
I love that. Wow, I really didn't know that we were going to go there. I'm glad I prompted you with that. That was an unexpected curveball. So we've been talking about, well, you've mentioned a lot of great successes you've had together recently, a lot going on. I know you mentioned you want to be on that awards stage next year, but I want to formalize that question, and don't worry, I have a slightly different one for you, Anne, since you had a similar version of this earlier. When we're hanging out at Boomi World 2026, what do you hope to be able to say then that you can't yet say today?
In terms of partnership or in terms of overall, you meant to say?
Whatever you want, baby, whatever you want.
So I think one is, I think if I have to, since I work with all the integration product, right? I would say Boomi to some extent has been moving in the right direction. And why am I saying that is not because I'm in the Boomi world, but I would say if I have to do a clear comparative analysis, right? I think Boomi has the right product mix where I think it is looking where the future would be, okay? I think that's very important. It has made right acquisition, let's say recently it acquired Mastery, which is again, it complements what it didn't had, okay? Thirdly, I think it realized very quickly that I think AI is something which is unavoidable, okay? I think it's something which the customer would have to go for, so I think they have adopted it well. Okay, so I think from a product perspective, they're done. If I look at what happened in this conference, right, a lot of emphasis was being done, a lot of talk shows, a lot of discussion happened on what Boomi in AI can do, what are some of the use cases that can be done, right? So I see that in 2026, certainly there will be a lot more emphasis, lot more maybe case studies, lot more realistic examples on what some of the customers have done on AI, which I think would be demonstrable in 2026 is how I would say, basically.
Well, we look forward to telling those stories.
If I can add to that,
please,
there's one statement that I would like to make in 2026, which I can make now, is of all the attendees that have visited Boomi World, the largest percentage should be my customers.
Oh. Ooh, nice one, AK.
So that's what I want to be saying next year when I'm here. Now this is recorded, so I have to work hard.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's on the record now.
It's on the
Permanent
record now,
ever.
so I
I
gotta work
really
hard.
like that. And Ann, what would you like to be able to say about your partnership together that maybe you can't say today?
Oh, I think it's the same as the answer I had before, and that's if you build on a foundation of trust and governance, you open the door to AI innovation. And this trust and governance comes from partnerships. It also comes from, obviously the technology that we're building together. And if we always keep in mind that those guardrails are important, they're there for a reason to go forward responsibly. That's the aim that we have, and I think we have like-minded partners as well, and we've been able to build some really cool things together.
Okay, cool.
That's clear. I can vouch for that. So far, so good. I look forward to telling those stories. Thank you all for taking the time today. This has been really lovely.
Thank you.
Susanna.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank all of you for tuning in to our 2 days of fantastic coverage here in Dallas, Texas at Boomi World 2025. My name is Savannah Peterson. You're watching theCUBE, the leading source for enterprise tech news.